Hi everyone, today we are taking a closer look at the biggest fashion trends for Fall/Winter 24. This season, the fashion industry has shifted its primary focus towards wearability and classic dressing, which is partially attributed to the global luxury slowdown. Luxury brands are adapting to new buying patterns to grow customer base and boost sales. The last season was kind of transitional season that prepared stage for new emerging trends. For instance, the obsession with formal shirts has evolved into big masculine coats and classic dressing. Similarly, trends such as polo shirts and vintage silhouettes have transitioned into a broader Grandpacore aesthetic. When it comes to new trends, menswear designers never disappoint. We have many exciting trends such as fur coats for men, riding boots, crazy hats, and many more. Alright, without further ado, here are the biggest fashion trends for Fall/Winter 24. As mentioned earlier, this season brought back masculine coats and classic dressing. It was evident not only in an abundance of sharp suiting, but also in the revival of classic accessories like neckties. The trend was initially introduced at Prada, where Raf Simons and Miuccia Prada explored two contrasting environments, the office and the outdoors. The runway featured a lot of formal attire, all accentuated with Prada neckties. The trend received a contemporary update at Gucci. We had a hybrid of scarf and necktie, featuring the house archival snap hook closure. This unique piece became a runway staple and was incorporated into almost every look. At Valentino, Pier Paolo Piccioli introduced a slimmer and longer version of neckties. These sleek neckties became a key accessory throughout the entire presentation. The underlying message was clear: neckties can be modern and sophisticated. They can be way more than just boring office wear. Ties were everywhere this season, and Saint Laurent fully embraced the trend. Their surprise menswear collection featured neckties in a big way, but with a twist. Think more classic 80s vibe. They kinda channeled Patrick Bateman from the movie American Psycho. Bottega Veneta took things super luxurious with ties crafted from python leather. Meanwhile, Louis Vuitton brought a playful touch with bolo ties and other Western-inspired neckties. At Balenciaga, Demna ditched the stiff formality and paired his fluid tailoring with long, relaxed neckties. He demonstrated how neckties can be way more versatile than we think. Grandpacore is a continuation of retro-inspired trends that emerged last season, particularly high-waisted pants and vintage polo shirts. It is a fashion trend characterized by vintage-inspired clothing, reminiscent of styles worn by older generations. It often includes elements such as tweed jackets, cardigans, vests, and other vintage-inspired pieces. Prada's take on this trend featured boxy, textured suits and soft cardigans. The Grandpacore trend can be seen more than just an aesthetic though. It can be seen as anti-fast fashion. It promotes a more sustainable way of dressing by embracing pre-owned clothing and vintage finds. Bottega Veneta's interpretation of the trend was characterized by intricate design. It combined both a cardigan and a sweater. Meanwhile, Fendi explored the trend with matching sets, featuring a cardigan over a polo shirt. Grandpacore took a contemporary twist at Hermes, where timeless style was celebrated with a modern edge. The collection featured an abundance of cardigans, argyle print sweaters, vests, and anoraks. Loewe saturated the runway with ski sweaters and ultra-long cardigans. Creative director Jonathan Anderson revived a few grandpa-inspired styling techniques, like tucking your sweater into sweatpants or even your sweatpants into socks. Gucci was all about elevated grandpa chic. Think luxurious twin sets, matching cardigans and sweaters made with finest materials. This polished interpretation of Grandpacore demonstrated that comfort can indeed be elegant and sophisticated. Sleeves have been a big area of experimentation lately. Last season, menswear designers experimented with extra long sleeves. This season, there is a shift towards rounder and more voluminous shapes. These sleeves are often accompanied by dropped shoulders, and the combination of round sleeves and dropped shoulders results in almost cocoon-like silhouette with a circular emphasis on the torso. Matthew Blaze is a creative director at Bottega, had a lot of fun experimenting with round sleeves this season. He incorporated this trend into a wide range of outerwear. Particularly notable were the cocoon coats characterized by rounded, three-dimensional silhouettes. Round sleeves were a centerpiece at Sacai. Creative director Chito Zabe took the trend to new heights. She played with exaggerated proportions and designed dramatically oversized sleeves. In line with the brand's love for deconstruction and hybridizing garments, we had many interesting hybrid pieces, like the half puffer, half coat, and many more. Round sleeves had their moment also at J.W. Anderson. The creative director Jonathan Anderson incorporated this trend into cardigans and jackets, and showcased how a playful twist on traditional sleeve designs can transform ordinary garments into something different. Wedmore took the trend to the extreme. It's no secret that Guram Gosalia is not afraid to push boundaries. He incorporated round sleeves into super oversized t-shirts, hoodies, and wide range of outerwear. The round sleeves on the trench coats reach almost comical proportions, resembling a hula hoop. Anyways, whether solidly rounded or dramatically oversized, round sleeves add a touch of creativity and drama to any outfit, making them a standout trend for the upcoming fall-winter. The double denim trend is officially back. It's also known as a denim on denim trend and involves wearing two or more denim garments in the same outfit. This trend has been a fashion staple for decades and remains to be a hot topic in menswear. Alright, when it comes to denim, Diesel continues to surprise its fans with unique and bold designs inspired by futuristic grunge. Creative director Glenn Martins made a significant impact on Diesel's identity with his unique style that appeals to a wider, fashion-forward audience. At Dior, Kim Jones created a highly elegant and unique look by combining couture craftsmanship with denim fabric. Meanwhile, Dries Van Noten interpreted the double denim trend with his effortless elegance. Sadly, he announced that he is retiring after his next menswear show in June. Denim on denim took center stage at Kenzo. Here the creative director Nigo staged the show in the National Library of France. He once again showcased his mastery and ability to infuse streetwear sensibilities with high fashion. Prada offered a polished take on the double denim trend. The denim shirt and the tie provided a touch of elegance and refinement, while high-waisted skinny pants created a sleek and streamlined silhouette. The double denim trend has its moment also at Valentino. This was the last collection designed by Pier Paolo Piccioli. He was succeeded by Alessandro Michele in March. The Peacoat trend is making a strong comeback this season, offering a classic yet versatile outwear options. Originally worn by sailors, the Peacoat features a double-breasted design, wide lapels, and a tailored silhouette. This season, designers are putting a modern twist on the traditional Peacoat, experimenting with different lengths, fabrics, and details. From sleek and minimalist to bold styles, there is a Peacoat to suit every taste and occasion. Peacoats, particularly in leather, stole the spotlight at Gucci, where Sabato De Sarno unveiled his first menswear collection for the Italian luxury fashion house. His interpretation of peacoats was characterized by wearable designs imbued with youthful sentiment and romance. The trend also made an appearance at Fendi, where peacoats were elevated with leather detailing from the brand's Celeria line. Peacoats at Louis Vuitton drew inspiration from the rugged aesthetic of cowboys and ranchers in the American West. These peacoats seamlessly integrated modern design elements with the toughness of the Western frontier. Vetements set a new record by showcasing the largest peacoat ever seen on the runway. Meanwhile, Hermes focused on functional enhancements, integrating additional pockets into the design. The double layering is a fresh new trend which involves layering multiple garments on top of each other to create depth, texture, and visual interest. It should not be confused with normal layering. The double layering involves stacking identical garments such as double shirts, double jackets, etc. The global luxury market is experiencing a significant slowdown, and this trend might be a trick from the industry to sell more. Jokes aside, this trend was captured well by Balenciaga, where Denim presented heavily layered thrift shop inspired looks. We had also 1-minute outfits created by using a tape, a temporary solution for getting the look to fit or stay on. We had tops made from double shirts, double blazers, and many more. Double layered garments, particularly double shirts, dominated the runway at Bottega. While wearing a single shirt may seem basic, the new technique of layering two shirts on top of each other brings a fresh and new perspective to traditional dressing. At Dolce & Gabbana, the double layering trend was applied to classic tailoring. Through the incorporation of double layering, the designers elevated the overall aesthetic to new heights of elegance. They seamlessly blended classic charm with a modern twist. At Hermes, double-layered parkas and coats dominated the runway. It exemplified how this technique can elevate an outfit from good to great. Meanwhile, Fendi played with tonality, showcasing how cascading layers of tank tops can create a good depth and texture in the outfit. Zegna continues its quest for perfect uniform for their stylish and rich customers. This time around, it involved outfits built around multiple layers of overshirts and jackets. The growing mountain of cashmere in the background is to mimic the waste collection and eventual recycling process that happens in the Zegna mill in Trivero. Vetements takes double layering technique to new heights. As usual, things are quite extreme here. We have double-layered trench coats, puffer coats, and many more. Other outlandish designs included tops constructed from multiple layers of t-shirts attached together. The color red is said to be a prominent trend for the upcoming fall-winter. Red is a special hue that can be incorporated into many styles and can offer endless possibilities for statement-making looks. Red holds various symbolic meanings and interpretations. It's frequently linked to power, strength, and courage. It also conveys a sense of excitement and symbolizes love and romance. At Gucci, the collection was infused with a new signature hue, Gucci Rosso, which is a deep shade of oxblood, a few shades darker than the middle stripe in Gucci's signature three-stripe motif. There is a subtle modernity and freshness to this shade, and turns out it works particularly well with leather. At Versace, red resonated well with a punk-inspired theme. It helped to convey a sense of confidence, rebellion, and don't-care attitude. Red was the color of choice also at J.W. Anderson. Jonathan Anderson used a lot of red, especially across knitwear and evening attire. Again, red resonated well with the passion and sensuality at the heart of the collection. At wet mode, the entire set design was immersed in red tones, setting a dramatic mood for the show. Guram used a lot of reds, ranging from bright hues to deep crimson and rich burgundy. He even dressed Cristiano Ronaldo's wife, Georgina, in a long red dress, inspired by Ronaldo's Manchester United kit. Red tones were used to create a striking visual impact at Yohji Yamamoto, whether through rich crimson hues, vibrant scarlet shades, or deep burgundy tones. Red served as a focal point to make statement and energize subdued and monochromatic palette of the show. Western-inspired fashion has been on a rise and seems like it's here to stay. It takes inspiration from the rugged and adventurous spirit of the American frontier and blends elements of Western wear with contemporary fashion. Key components of the Wild West trend include cowboy boots, fringe details, denim, Western-style shirts, etc. The biggest display of Western wear was made at Louis Vuitton. Fair to say that Pharrell Williams played an important role in reviving Wild West trend. He seamlessly blended the Louis Vuitton spirit of travel with iconography of the American Western wardrobe. He reinterpreted the main American Western theme by using both cowboy-inspired fashion and the native American culture and crafts. At D-Squared, Kate and Brothers interpreted the Wild West trend with their modern and edgy twist. They elevated their maximalist and mashed-up style with Western chops, patched denim, fringe details, and other Western-inspired pieces. Last but not least, Wild West trend also made its appearance at German luxury fashion house Gilsander. We had looks featuring fringe details and other Western-inspired elements. The fluid tailoring trend combines the sophistication of traditional tailoring with the comfort and ease of fluid fabrics. Key features of the fluid tailoring trend include relaxed and oversized silhouettes, soft fabrics, and drape details such as twists and pleats. The wide popularity of the trend is partially attributed to its versatility. Fluid tailored pieces can be dressed up or down, making them suitable for a variety of occasions. Fluid tailoring captured Demna's interest at Balenciaga. His interpretations included oversized fluid suits, fluid coats, and trench coats. The biggest display of the trend was done at Saint Laurent. Here the tailoring was based on flou, which is historic haute couture term for making things as fluid as humanly possible. Anthony Vaccarello explains that Yves Saint Laurent himself was the king of the flou, just as much as he was of the tailoring. At MSGM, creative director Massimo Giorgetti offered us a modern take on the popular trend, done in his signature youthful spirit. He showcased a wide range of fluid tailored pieces, combining comfort, elegance, and versatility in equal measure. At Dior, fluid tailoring was influenced by ballet-inspired theme. Kim Jones crafted 20 couture looks that featured fluid suits, fluid pants, and other impeccably tailored pieces. Dior Menswear was certainly at its finest. Special pleated pants featured draping effect, designed to flow gracefully with movement. Similarly, fluid suits and wide leg pants were prevalent throughout Dries Van Notten's collection. He described his aesthetic as the elegance of the unexpected, a phrase that truly captures the essence of his designs. This season, menswear designers want us to explore and experiment with hats. They encourage us to find the ones that will make us feel confident and help us stand out. The fall winter runways were like a competition among menswear designers to create the boldest and the most unique hat designs. At Prada, hat designs were inspired by two contrasting environments, the office and the outdoors. The designers were curious how would corporate men look if they were thrown into nature. so they designed textured swimming caps to capture a tension between the corporate world and the great outdoors. Balenciaga headwear focused on privacy and protection. Demna designed transparent beanies, which represented a kind of protection from social media and content overload prevalent in today's digital age. At Dior, Kim Jones was after a hot design that would capture an intersection between ballet dance and the high fashion. Drawing inspiration from the movements and fluidity of ballet, he introduced exotic head wraps tied in an intricate knots and folds. Givenchy's studio team experimented with Russian babushka-inspired headwear, printed with variety of hairstyles. Meanwhile, D-Squared showcased trapper hats. Din and Dan also experimented with removable shilling hoods. At Saint Laurent, Anthony Vaccarello designed statement hats in polished leather. He was inspired by gleaming leathery caps Saint Laurent first showed in 1963. At Grandpacore, designers explored special head wraps commonly worn in Middle Eastern countries. The Berlin-based designers have consistently delved into questions of identity, politics, and sexuality. In this collection, they aim to address the ongoing conflict in the Middle East and geopolitical tensions further afield. Rick Owens crafted some of the most bizarre headwear. It resembled a crown of some kind, or a helmet of a prisoner. These designs likely drew inspiration from Rick's teenage years, which he spent in his hometown in Porterville. Fur coats have become increasingly popular thanks to the rise of the mob wife trend, which actually draws inspiration from the glamorous and opulent style often associated with the wives and girlfriends of mafia figures portrayed in popular culture. The mob wife trend has propelled fur coats into the mainstream of men's fashion. Fur coats have gone truly mainstream at Dolce & Gabbana. They served as a bold and eye-catching statement piece, adding a touch of luxury and extravagance to the collection. Domenico and Stefano curated a wide selection of exotic pieces, including fur coats with striking leopard prints. At Louis Vuitton, Pharrell showcased fur coats inspired by cowboys and ranchers. Fur has played a multifaceted role in Western fashion, serving as a symbol of status and a practical material. At Diesel, everything was intensely worked, destroyed, and acid washed. We had fur coats crafted from long, rough, and untidy hair, creating a wild and untamed feel. These looks embodied a sense of nonconformity and self-expression that appeals to everyone, especially a younger demographic. Kid Super brought his playful spirit back to Paris with a runway show. He once again tried to create truly memorable fashion experience. He dressed soccer star Ronaldinho in a massive faux fur coat. As fashion continues to evolve, there has been a shift towards more gender-neutral and inclusive styles, and Skorts epitomize the shift. They offer a unique blend of shorts and skirts, making them a versatile option for people of all genders. Long story short, this season, men wear shorts that look like actual skirts. Fendi showcased the largest variety of Skorts. In their collection, Scottish kilts were reimagined as wide-leg skirts, featuring knife pleats on the outseams. Drawing inspiration from the British outdoors, Fendi also introduced cozy drop-crotch Bermuda shorts. All these kilts and skirts hinted that the work of menswear designers is increasingly influenced by female figures. Pharrell at Louis Vuitton offered a modern reinterpretation of traditional cowboy style. He introduced mid-length pleated skirts in both classic suiting and rodeo attire. These looks can resonate well with fashion-forward cowboys who seek to explore new styles and challenge the norms of conventional fashion. Rei Kawakubo unveiled a legion of pleated skirts at Comme des Garçons Homme Plus. She offered her unique perspective on masculinity. In her universe, there is an absence of toxic masculinity or any kind of aggression. Here it's all about freedom and inclusivity. Exploring themes of gender fluidity and cultural fusion is not something new for Whalespanner. By introducing Skorts, she once again challenged traditional ideas of masculinity and femininity in fashion. Leather has long been a staple material in fashion, known for its versatility and timeless appeal. This season, there is a significant surge in the popularity of polished leather. It's characterized by its smooth and glossy finish, achieved through various polishing and finishing techniques. It's a trend that brings a touch of luxury and glamour to the fashion world. Saint Laurent unveiled a legion of polished leather outerwear. They boasted high glass shine and looked chunky and tough, like an armor of some kind. The sleek texture and the refined surface reflected light in a captivating manner. Wetmo interpreted the trend through oversized leather suits and leather jackets. According to Vogue, certain pieces were graded up to 16 times, a job so big that the factory turned down Guasalia's request at first. Polished leather outfits took center stage at Ferragamo. The collection featured head-to-toe leather ensembles in monochromatic tones like mustard and moss. Maximilian Davis tried to revive retro-inspired leather attire with a contemporary twist. Fendi highlighted the versatility of the polished leather trend, showcasing how it can be incorporated into casual outfits. Long story short, polished leather has a timeless and classic appeal, and its elegant appearance makes it a popular choice for individuals seeking a polished and refined look. A new emerging trend, riding boots, have found their way on the runways. These typically well-suited boots for equestrian activities has become a popular choice among many menswear designers. They can be incorporated into contemporary fashion to create versatile looks, including casual chic or sophisticated city look. Dolce & Gabbana injects a dose of timeless elegance into their collection, with a focus on reimagined riding boots. Their interpretations featured modern and minimalist design. The entire collection was like a dialogue between the designers and their audience about timeless elegance and modern masculinity. Similar to Dolce & Gabbana, D-Squared showcased knee-length riding boots with modern design. Versace, on the other hand, was all about thigh-high boots, which was like a hybrid of cowboy boots and riding boots. This trend embraces gender inclusivity and it suits diverse preferences and tastes. Fendi designed riding boots with a shorter length, reminiscent of paddle boots. This shorter length offers versatility in styling and provides a modern interpretation of traditional riding footwear. Pairing these boots with hiking socks can enhance the overall look significantly. Riding boots at Whalespanner feature a square toe and a shiny appearance. When it comes to styling, pairing these boots with skater socks creates an interesting contrast. The elements of high fashion are juxtaposed with streetwear influences, resulting in a bold and unique aesthetic. Again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and got something out of it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.